Chapter 114 takes a hard left turn from Anya's school shenanigans to catching up with Yuri, Yor's little brother and state intelligence officer. Well, I'm not so sure about this one, but let's talk about it anyway. We start off seeing Yuri at work interrogating alleged terrorists. Since I'm not sure how much I'll have to say about the whole chapter, I'd like to break down these interviews, which are probably the highlight of the chapter. Firstly, Falsa Charges is a 10 out of 10 name, no notes. If her charges are indeed false, then all the better. At first I didn't understand what was contradictory in her speech that Yuri was pointing to, but he's talking about her stated lack of respect for organizations that don't respect diverse opinions. As in, to not respect those who do not respect diverse opinions is itself a lack of respect for diverse opinion. I think there's a name for this dilemma, but anyway, before we get lost in the weeds, let's move on. I do like that the slightest pushback on her ideas she is quick to categorize as suppression. Just a very interesting look into her character there. Before we can ascertain much about this case, though, we move onward to Conspiracist, a disheveled old man ranting about a shadow government and that he's actually the hero. For Yuri, it seems speeches like this go in one ear and out the other. Yuri gets exhausted by the work, commenting on how there seems to be more extremists lately, and a co-worker of his points out that it's almost spring. This is the last little bit of tolerable content in this chapter, as we then get Yuri turning down drinks to spend time with his sister. Look, if you don't know the obvious issue with Yuri, you're about to find out, so bear with me. He meets up with Yor, and in just a few panels we are reminded that when it comes to his sister, Yuri is an obsessive weirdo, starting off being loud and fumbling a simpler compliment, like, "You look especially beautiful today like you do every day?" How could she look especially beautiful today if she looks especially beautiful every day? Especially is a qualifier that implies uniqueness. Alright, I can't be analysing Yuri like this, he's too annoying. So he categorises her living situation as an abduction, as classy and deluded as ever. He takes her to an expensive department store, and instead of listening to what she's saying, he rushes off to buy the first thing she looks at. She was questioning its quality, she clearly didn't want it. Why were you so quick to buy it, dude? No, I said I wouldn't do this. Let's keep going. Hopefully his actions speak for themselves, because I really don't want to. When Yor tells Yuri she doesn't want the item, he jumps to assuming that it's Lloyd's fault. And when she insists that she just doesn't want it, he tells her he wants to buy her something. She is about to consider his offer sweet when she sees bed sheets and thinks that Anya needs new ones. Yuri insists that he wants to buy something just for her, undoing the illusion that his motives are unselfish here. As she continues to think of what others need, Yuri decides that shopping is too dangerous and decides that they should go to dinner. He takes them to a fancy restaurant, and when she orders apple juice, he immediately assumes it's Lloyd's fault again. But when she clarifies that she can't handle alcohol well and has gotten flirty with Lloyd when she's drunk, Yuri instantly flips his switch, yelling that she should never drink again. While they are eating, Yuri reveals he is under the impression that Yor is treated like a servant, and tries to further categorize her relationship as brainwashing. Yor starts to worry since Yuri has become more worried about her since she got married, not less. She tries to think of hobbies, but is only able to list a few examples, and ultimately comes back to caring for Anya, saying it brings her joy and reminds her of when Yuri was little. Yuri is insulted by this, calling Anya a simpleton, and look, she's smarter than you, and you're a grown man, so what does that say about you? Nope, I gotta bite my tongue, let his actions and words speak for themselves. So he realizes that Yor spent a lot of time looking after him when they were little, and Yor says she was happy to do it. She also talks about the time she was by herself, and of course that's what Yuri chooses to focus on. Still, it doesn't deter Yor from looking at the positive, saying that those feelings are a thing of the past. Of course, the moment Yor seems to be okay with how things are, Yuri has an outburst, wanting her to take care of him forever. Then when she says he's being silly and that he's an impressive man now, he gets even sillier, saying he'll become unimpressive. This outburst is the third he's had in this restaurant, and he gets them kicked out. As they walk home at night, Yuri thinks about how you can't see many stars in the city, and suggests that he and Yor move back to Nielsberg. This prompts Yor to point out that the city is a wonderful place, and that she has work to do here. He apologizes for the weird idea, being kind of normal for once, and then hands Yor a gift before she leaves. He thinks back to his childhood on his way home and comes home to an empty apartment. He sits and eats snacks, trying to understand his loneliness. An almost human moment from him is undercut as he mentally tries to blame the forgers again. Meanwhile, we see that the gift he gave was those sheets for Anya that Yor was eyeing. So a real mixed bag, and the ending of this chapter continues to be a mixed bag as we see he has a wall of Yor photos and he thinks that there are parts of him he can't show her, likely referring to his job. He is then contacted by his co-workers who want him to come drink with them, and he thinks that maybe he should. Yeah, so any chapter with a Yuri focus is going to have story beats that annoy me, because Yuri is a man-child who's obsessed with his older sister. Still, given the direction of this chapter, if there's even a chance that Yuri could grow up and become an interesting character, I'd be willing to overlook the growing pains a bit. I can't say I enjoyed this chapter all that much, but I am eager to see where the story goes, as this is more than just a story about Yuri, and I do like most of the other characters. Let me know what you thought of the chapter in the comments, and here's today's lyric quiz. 1 minute I held the key, next the walls were closed on me, and I discovered that my castles stand upon pillars of salt and pillars of sand. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.